Imagine a China painted red, a nation moving in unison under the watchful gaze of Chairman Mao. This was not a scene from a propaganda poster, but the reality of life under his rule. From the clothes they wore to the songs they sang, every aspect of people's lives was controlled. Individuality was sacrificed at the altar of collectivism, personal dreams dissolving into the vast ocean of Mao's vision. This was a China where fear and fervor intertwined, where loyalty was paramount and dissent was met with swift and brutal retribution. The stories that emerged from this era are both fascinating and horrifying. They offer a glimpse into a world where absolute power permeated every facet of existence. From the seemingly mundane to the utterly surreal, Mao's policies left an indelible mark on China. To understand this period is to grapple with the devastating consequences of unchecked ideology and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable hardship. In 1958, Mao launched the Great Leap Forward, aiming to transform China from an agrarian society into an industrial powerhouse overnight. Central to this plan were backyard steel furnaces. Millions of peasants were ordered to melt down anything metallic, pots, pans, even farm tools, in a fervent attempt to increase steel production. The results were catastrophic. The makeshift furnaces produced largely unusable pig iron, a far cry from the quality steel needed for industrialization. Worse yet, the diversion of labor from agriculture led to a devastating famine. Fields were left untended, harvests withered, and millions starved. The human cost of this misguided attempt at rapid industrialization was staggering. The backyard steel furnaces exemplify the dangers of ideological fervor divorced from practical realities. The drive to reach unrealistic production targets led to widespread suffering and exposed the flaws in Mao's top-down approach to governance. The Great Leap Forward serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of utopian visions pursued at all costs. Mao's ambition extended beyond industrialization. He also sought to reshape nature itself. The Four Pests campaign, launched in 1958, aimed to eradicate mosquitoes, flies, rats, and sparrows. These creatures were deemed enemies of the people, blamed for spreading disease and consuming precious grain. Citizens were mobilized to eradicate the pests. Sparrows in particular were targeted. People banged pots and pans to prevent them from landing, forcing them to fly until they dropped from exhaustion. Nests were destroyed, and chicks were killed. The campaign achieved its goal. Sparrows were nearly wiped out in China. However, the ecological consequences were severe. With sparrows gone, locust populations exploded, wreaking havoc on crops and exacerbating the famine already gripping the country. The ecological imbalance demonstrated the interconnectedness of nature and the folly of interfering with delicate ecosystems. The Four Pests campaign serves as a cautionary tale about the unintended consequences of human actions and the dangers of disrupting the natural world. In the mid-1960s, China descended into the chaos of the Cultural Revolution. At the heart of this tumultuous period was Mao's Little Red Book, a collection of his quotations that became the gospel of the revolution. This small red-bound book was ubiquitous, carried by everyone from schoolchildren to high-ranking officials. The Little Red Book was more than just a book. It was a symbol of loyalty to Mao and his ideology. People were expected to study it religiously, memorize passages, and carry it with them at all times. Deviation from its teachings was considered ideological heresy and could have dire consequences. The book's pronouncements, often taken out of context and subject to interpretation, fueled the fanaticism of the Cultural Revolution. It became a tool for settling personal scores, with accusations of ideological impurity leading to public shamings, imprisonment, and even death. The Little Red Book embodies the dangers of personality cults and the power of propaganda in shaping thoughts and behaviors. One of the most chilling aspects of Mao's rule was the use of public shaming and struggle sessions. These were tools of terror used to enforce conformity and eliminate dissent. Anyone deemed a counter-revolutionary, intellectual, or simply insufficiently enthusiastic about Mao's policies could be targeted. Struggle sessions were public humiliations where individuals were forced to confess their alleged crimes against the revolution. They were subjected to verbal and physical abuse, often for hours on end until they broke down and admitted their guilt. These sessions were often accompanied by public denunciations by colleagues, neighbors, and even family members. The psychological toll of these public shamings was immense, leaving lasting scars on individuals and fracturing communities. fear became a constant companion, as people lived in dread of being accused and subjected to such humiliation. Struggle sessions stand as a stark reminder of the human capacity for cruelty and the devastating impact of political extremism. The legacy of Mao's rule is complex and multifaceted. While he is credited with unifying China and ending a century of humiliation by foreign powers, his policies came at an immeasurable human cost. The Great Leap Forward, the Cultural Revolution, and the countless campaigns against perceived enemies left tens of millions dead and scarred the psyche of a nation. The bizarre and extreme rules imposed during Mao's reign serve as a stark warning about the dangers of unchecked power, ideological extremism, and the suppression of individual freedoms. The legacy of this period continues to shape China today, as the country grapples with the consequences of its past and seeks to define its future. Understanding this period requires acknowledging the suffering inflicted upon millions and recognizing the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable hardship. The stories of those who lived through Mao's reign serve as a testament to the indomitable spirit of the Chinese people and a reminder of the importance of safeguarding individual rights and freedoms.